Waits a time.
Hey, Mike's working.
Yes.
We're warmed up now.
Brothers, sisters, siblings, welcome to Penn Sunday School, starring Penn Gillette. My name is Michael Goodell. Matt Donnelly, Reddy Richardson, and I are broadcasting from our separate homes in Las Vegas. 805 people lost 38,841 pounds on our goofy diet, and is watching people play video games. And yet another book report for us this week on the Vonnegut Classic, Slaughterhouse 5. So here he is, Mr. Penn Gillette.
Woo! Preach and love. Here's where I am. As I was saying before, when we started, we had 2 false starts. I don't have many thoughts in my head. I've now reached some sort of level in my meditation that I now sit sometimes with not a thought in my head. That didn't used to be true, and now I'm able to do it. I don't know if I like it or not, but I'm able to do it.
Mission accomplished.
Mission accomplished. We didn't know if we wanted that mission, but we got it.
Yeah, you can learn to do it. Just not sure if you want to.
Yeah. Now everybody's on, and by everybody, I don't mean everybody, is on this kick for 5 club back crosses. You've been seeing people do that?
Oh yeah. I'm not even close. I can't do 3 club back crosses.
Yeah, I can't do 5 clubs, so 5 club back crosses are out of the question.
Yeah, not gonna.
Is it just tossing clubs behind your back? Is that across your back?
Although the catching it is also the hard part.
Oh, damn it! I thought I was halfway there.
But Owen Morse just qualified it, and he said, well, I know you know because he sent the video, I believe, to everybody. Owen Morse, there's a great moment because in order to qualify, you need to have twice the number of throws that you have objects, right? Because you have to throw and catch, establish the pattern. That's called qualifying. Flashing is everything gets thrown up once and caught. But qualifying is you go twice through the pattern. And there's a great moment. Owen does 11 back crosses behind his back. And then he catches the final one, so nothing hits the floor. And then he stands there, frozen, for like 2 seconds. A long time, 3 seconds, while he realizes in his head whether he's done 9 or whether he's done 11, because he knows it's not 10 because of the hand he stopped on.
Oh, funny.
So it's either 9 or it's 11. He either did 1 too few or 1 too many throws. And there's this wonderful moment where he stands there like Pooh Bear, wondering if he's going to get his honey. And he gets the 11, and then all of a sudden, whereas he wants to be relieved like a little girl and go, I did it, he then goes, one moment, micro expression across his face of, oh boy, boy, and then kind of this macho, throws him down. But it all goes across his face. I wonder if I was successful or I failed. I don't know. I was successful. Yippee. I don't want to go yippee. I want to go, yeah. And all that little one-act play plays out in his face in those 2 seconds. It's fabulous.
That's exactly how I feel after a successful date.
Did I do 9 or 11? Was I 9 or 11? 11.
Yippee! Yeah.
The bad part is that there's video, because you could just go, I did 11, sure.
Yeah.
But now there's video.
It's great. I do these cameos, cameo.com, where I've been doing
cameos.
I'm doing them and I love them. I just had some people just write in, my friend hates when you make fun of his name. So make fun of his name for as long as you want. and then say happy birthday at the end. Which is great, which is just great. I mean, I haven't beaten the time capsule for my son when he turns 30 yet.
No.
But I've got really good ones of, it's our anniversary. We've been married 3 years. My wife fell asleep during a Penn and Teller show. Make fun of her for that and then say happy anniversary.
That's great.
So I'm having a really good time. And people who know how to do a card force, or I have a little video on there teaching you how to do a card force that just say, I'm going to force the Queen of Diamonds, so you give them the reveal.
Oh, nice.
Very nice.
Have you had any requests that you've had to say no to?
Some that say, I run a used car lot, say they were the best used car lot in Oklahoma. And I go, I'm not really want to do an ad at this budget, put it that way.
Yeah. I was curious because I didn't know. You're the first person I know who's had Cameo that's where people demand it. And because Brett Favre, the quarterback, got caught. They were like, hey, we have these funny inside jokes. Can you say them? And they tricked Brett Favre into saying like a bunch of white supremacist stuff. And then that Cameo backfired on him a little bit.
Yeah. Gilbert has been asked to do fuck you asshole to ex-girlfriends. And he's turned those down. The ones that I was busting balls on seemed like they were very jovial.
Yeah.
And I've somebody, I get very nervous when they ask for a joke because they have to tell me what level of joke they want. Because one of them said, you can tell the joke that's a little off color. And I told the joke that got a friend of mine fired. Did I ever tell you that story? But a very good friend of ours who worked at a bank for 20 years told the joke that I recommended to a coworker who was a friend of his who went to HR and got him fired.
It was the Willie Nelson joke, right?
Yeah. Very simple. What's the worst thing you can hear when you're blowing Willie Nelson? I'm not Willie Nelson. And then it has the follow-up. What's the worst thing you can hear when you're blowing Kenny G? I am Kenny G.
That I would go to HR over that one.
So he was fired for that.
Wow.
Fired. And he told it to a friend, a real friend who he happens to work with no one else listening in.
There's only one explanation, and that's that the guy accidentally blew an old man.
Yeah. I think that's the explanation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I told the toddler answering the door in a sombrero, holding a martini, smoking a cigar joke the other day.
Yeah.
Someone who had not heard it, I was like, anytime someone hasn't heard that joke, I'm just like, woo!
Why don't you tell that joke now so people aren't left out?
My version is Jehovah's Witness. Rings the doorbell. A toddler answers the door, wearing a sombrero, smoking a cigar, holding a martini. Music is blaring. And Jehovah's Witness says, hey, little boy, are your parents home? And the toddler says, fuck do you think? One of my favorite jokes.
It's a wonderful joke. It's a wonderful joke.
Your kids are at the right age that you could film this now.
You're absolutely right.
That would be there'd be some money in that for you. I think if I bet might go viral.
My oldest wouldn't say the punchline.
Yeah, my kid wouldn't either.
Penn talked about this. I try to do the thing where I wasn't raising them being like, there are bad words and good words, but, let's look at the intention of what we're saying. And if we want to hurt anybody's feelings and if you get, that kind of thing. And he went to school and came home and now he's policing daddy's language all the time.
Yeah. Well, I was once picked up my daughter at school. She was about 6, right? And I happened to be on the phone in the car, speakerphone, with with the long-suffering Glenn, my manager. And I said, fuck them about some deal that I wasn't taking. And Moxie said to me, Daddy, don't use that bad word. And I pulled over to the side of the road. I said, excuse me. I hung up on Glenn. And I said, you listen, young lady. I said, you are going to this fancy ass overpriced private school because your dad did a show called Bullshit. And believe their jive in school about bad words, and you can follow their rules in school. But your daddy will use any fucking language he wants any fucking time, because wherever I go, young lady, that's a free speech zone.
Yeah.
I said we will never correct daddy's language again. And you know, my mother-in-law is living with us, and she's sometimes a little surprised by how often my children swear.
Okay.
I mean, not that my mother-in-law is at all a prude; she's far from it. But still,
That's kind of the point, right?
There is kind of a level that you can hit. But I don't believe I've ever told my children to not use certain language.
I had a very similar experience.
Except Swedish. I don't want to hear that.
The same thing. My kid policed me saying language, and I pulled his scooter over to the side of the road, and I pointed at his sneakers. I said, "You know what paid for those sneakers?" Daddy's saying fuck.
But school is now over for my children. And I do not know. I got to tell you, I feel perhaps that I show too much sympathy to my children in the difficulty of their schoolwork during the pandemic. But I have got to tell you, I do not believe if I were a teenager during the pandemic, I don't believe that I would have learned one sentence of anything. It seems impossible to ask children to learn over Zoom. And the teachers are trying very, very hard. And, you know, teachers are underpaid. They should be paid more than basketball stars. I'll say all that stuff everybody says, you know. Oh, how come Madonna? Shut up. Billie Eilish makes that much and teachers make, yeah, sure, fine. I'll say all that stuff you have to say. Oh, yeah, every teacher should get $1 million a day. But the teachers who are trying very hard do not know what they're doing. They don't know how to use Google Classroom. They don't know how to use Zoom. They don't know how to use anything. And I don't blame them. I don't either. I'm just learning too. But it's not like the teachers were all ready for this pandemic to take over children. They were caught just like everybody else.
Yeah.
And it seems really hard. First of all, school seems really hard. You know, they wake children up before they should and put them into school, and it seems like a really bad system. However, trying to do it electronically seems even harder. Now, you've homeschooled for a while, so it makes it
10 years. I did 10 years, with my son.
So what do you know that we're already doing wrong, Guido? Like, as everybody who hopped onto these Zoom classrooms,
trying to do it in a Zoom classroom is the wrong thing to do. Just send you the assignments and let you go through them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not self-working like you seem to believe it's going to be when you start. You know what I mean? They say, well, you're going to do your schoolwork on computers. It'll be great. You go, great, fantastic. I'll go home. I'll set the sun up. I'll hit start. I'll come back 3 hours later. You'll have done the work. That's not what happens. You become a teacher. You get the assignments. You talk about the assignments. You sit with your kid while he does the assignments.
Yeah.
It's a full-time job. It is. You have become the teacher. The computer is just pointing you in the right direction, not your kid.
Yeah. The only thing that seemed to go well was when, you know, I actually sat in a room while they did it.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, they hated.
Yes. Just like school.
I know. I was surprised with younger kids that they in the classrooms accommodate for the shorter attention span kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And so then someone reminded us of that. They're like, you know, they don't do anything for more than 20 minutes when they're in school. Yeah. And that shift helped us tremendously. And then I realized that I don't have an attention span for more than 20 minutes either. It was mutually beneficial to shift the pace of classes to a different pace.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Yeah, I don't know. I try very, very hard to toe the line and follow the rules, but I I have trouble. My heart isn't really in it, and yet it does matter tremendously. I mean, you want to get good grades and have a successful life. You want that. You know,
Yeah.
it's very, very hard to.
Are your children readers, Penn?
Mox reads quite a bit. Z reads less.
Yeah.
But Mox reads the same books over and over again.
Okay.
He reads this book called Kingdom, which is about robots. I read it in solidarity. It's about falling in love with androids, that kind of thing. It's a romance that's also science fiction. And she reads, what is it, Everything, or one of these that's also a movie that she's read 11 times.
Oh, wow.
And she reads a lot of vampire robot romance stuff.
Who doesn't?
But it feels like that's probably the good habit to be in.
Yeah.
Her taste will shift, but it just seems like
Reddy Riches hasn't. You still read android, robot, vampire romance, right?
I actually don't read any fiction at all anymore.
You become very masculine.
Too many owner's manuals.
Too many owner's manuals. Yeah.
Following the Godot method.
Yeah, I just read Slaughterhouse-Five. You have this attitude, or I have this attitude. No one else does. I have this attitude that Kurt Vonnegut. I'm so old that I read everything that Kurt Vonnegut had out when I was in high school, and he wrote another 8 books after that.
Right.
But I read everything that was available when I was in high school and absolutely loved it, just loved it. And then thought for some reason that Vonnegut was not sophisticated enough for me, that he was, whatever the term is, middlebrow or something. I thought it was heavy when I was in high school, but it really wasn't. So I thought maybe I was wrong, because Jackie the Joke Man is a Vonnegut freak. Right? And he sent me some letters he got, copies of letters he got from Vonnegut's son that were from Vonnegut, some really interesting stuff. And I went, well, what the hell? I'll read Slaughterhouse-Five again. And God, I was just wrong. It's just fabulous. It's so smart, so funny, so powerful, so brave, so exploratory, so filled with compassion, so well thought out. I mean, the use of the Kurt Vonnegut himself appearing in the book, bookended and within it, and the idea of depicting post-traumatic stress disorder as time travel, and then bringing in a science fiction element and allowing the moods to go from deep compassion and horror to comedy, boom, 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 boom. It's just, I just feel like a fool for having dismissed it.
It's easy to rebel against everything they gave you in high school. You know what I mean?
They didn't give me that in high school.
They didn't know.
It was not assigned. I don't think.
Okay. Right.
I think I read it on my own, or certainly the other stuff. And I just loved it. The other thing I noticed, and this is the part that's perhaps the most powerful and strongest indication, is it's me. I mean, so much of the thoughts and the ideas and even the sentence structure are who I am now. I mean, there's ideas in that book that I bring up once a week as my own. Mm-hmm. There's a view towards life. I mean, Kurt Vonnegut, of course, an outspoken atheist, as he described himself, an atheist who loves Christ, an outspoken atheist, and so deeply humanitarian and compassionate. And all of that stuff I aspire to. I mean, now that I'm 65 years old, sometimes seems I'm just trying to be Kurt Vonnegut. The gentle sweetness, his skepticism, his wry look at stuff that doesn't fall into an angry cynicism. It's just amazing how he watched the bombing of Dresden, dismissed all, watched the bombing of Dresden, watched the incompetence of war, and didn't turn out angry, but rather sad, and didn't turn out cynical, but rather sad. You know, the fact that he turned that to funny and sad instead of cynicism, being a cynic, is really phenomenal. I mean, so deeply compassionate and loving while having experienced these horrors. And so much of that is now me. I mean, I talk all the time about time travel and being unstuck in time. And I talk all the time, I teach my children to pick moments and memorize everything about them so you can come back to them. You know, I have all these signposts in my life of times that I go back to, you know, because I wanted, after I read Vonnegut, to learn to time travel. And I've been successful. I mean, it's just remarkable. I mean, I go back and listen to the Dylan stuff, and I know that Dylan was a big part of creating me, and Zappa, and even Martin Mull and so on. But Vonnegut, I didn't go back to reading the books every year. You know, I listen to Dylan every week. I'm reminded of how important he was to me. I read Moby Dick, but I didn't read that for the first time till I was 45. And for some reason, the books that created me in high school, I haven't gone back to. And that's a very, very strange thing that Vonnegut deserves for who I am. He deserves as much credit as Dylan or my other heroes, and was really not getting it because I just kind of said, that's a book I read in high school and that doesn't matter. Whereas the music I listened to in high school somehow did. So I was very embarrassed by reading Slaughterhouse 5 and how good it was.
That's a fascinating point about your music staying with you and your books not. I also have never read any Vonnegut, so I guess I should start with Slaughterhouse 5, I guess.
You probably should. I mean, it's very short, and it's a one or 2 days.
Yeah.
And it's very emotional and very rich. And one of the things I thought was it was so innovative at the time and so many people learned from it, that it might be like the Velvet Underground, where it seems a little bit like, oh, everybody sounds like that now. Or,
Right.
it sounded like that in the 80s and 90s, not now.
Right.
So we're used to it. But I believe that Vonnegut is still surprising, fresh, and interesting. And I'm going to read Cat's Cradle. But first, I'm reading this Hidden Valley thing. You know about that book?
No?
It's this family.
Salad dressing? Is it?
Family of 12 children. 12 children in Colorado. 6 of them schizophrenic, 6 of them not. And they became the backbone of genetic testing for schizophrenia.
Wow.
And I've been told that it will be a very, very emotionally difficult read. I'm only 10% into the book, and I believe that it can't get worse.
And this is a true story, is what you're saying.
It's all true. It's a nonfiction book, yeah.
You know what? Put aside everything. Imagine that you had to make 36 meals a day. Schizophrenia or no, 36 meals a day. You would never stop doing dishes.
Or laundry.
Yeah, it's crazy.
12 children is pretty amazing.
And that's like the first 2 pages,
Yeah,
So, like,
So now, just so you know, Matt,
yeah.
I am now going to segue
Okay.
into an ad.
Thank you for the heads up.
It'll go smooth. You might not notice it, but I want you to have a heads up.
I appreciate the heads up.
And I'm really happy about this because we did masterclass, right?
Yeah.
You're in the masterclass.
Yeah.
And the masterclass we did teaching magic, a lot of people who get in touch with me on Cameo are saying that they've been doing the masterclass and learning a lot about magic. It's really good. The masterclass people very much know how to teach stuff.
It's
They
beautiful.
really know how to teach stuff. And their deal is, you get all the master classes. So you get the Penn and Teller Magic Master Class, but you also get all the others. And we were really, really honest in our master class on magic. We try really hard to teach the real deal. We tried very hard to not just do a cursory, this is what we're doing, but really, really dig in. I highly recommend you check out Masterclass. You get unlimited access to every Masterclass. And as a Penn Sunday School listener, you get 15% off the annual all access pass. Go to masterclass.com/Penn.
Penn.
That's masterclass.com/Penn.
Penn.
For 15% off Masterclass. We have Chris Voss doing the art of negotiation, Gabriela Camara doing Mexican cooking, Bogby Brown doing makeup and beauty, David Sedaris doing humor and personal essays, Neil deGrasse Tyson doing scientific thinking and communication. Now, I got to tell you, these are put together. I mean, we knew what we wanted to teach in magic, but their cinematography and their editing and laying it all out. You also get Johnny Thompson. The masterclass you get from Penn and Teller is also a masterclass from Johnny Thompson. So check it out, masterclass.com/Penn.
Penn.
I've been through 8 of them now.
Have you?
Yeah.
Which ones have you done?
I really like Danny Elfman's
On music?
on being a soundtrack composer.
Uh-huh.
He spends an awful lot of time going into what his personal thoughts are and how he overcame them.
Oh, good.
Wow.
And what other ones did you do?
I'm doing Gordon Ramsay's cooking right now.
Well, masterclass.com/Penn.
Penn.
Check it out. If you got the time, it's a great way to study. And speaking of learning stuff, I love that the people that are advertising on our show are people that teach stuff. Blinkist. Blinkist is such a useful app on my phone. One of the ultimate life hacks. It is so great. It's hard to find time to sit down and read and learn more. When you don't have free time, you can read or work on personal development. An incredible app that solves this problem. I highly recommend it. It is called Blinkist. Blinkist is unique, works on your phone, your tablet, or your web browser. Takes the best key takeaways, need-to-know information from thousands of nonfiction books and condenses them down to just 15 minutes you can read or listen to. I usually listen to them. So, although I did read one, and it's also great that way. Of course, it's faster. And you get all the information you're going to remember from nonfiction books. Successful people like business leaders are well known for reading a lot of books. Blinkist is made for busy people like you who want to get the main points of a book quickly so you can start using that information right away. With its audio feature, Blinkist makes it easy to finish a book during your commute, on your lunch break, or while you exercise. Millions of people are using Blinkist now. It is a massive and growing library from self-help, business, health, and history books. Blinkist has the latest titles from bestsellers list, as well as classic nonfiction titles you're always meant to read but never have the time to. Meant to read but never have the time to. I just love it. It was just such a good way to get all this stuff. Upheaval, Turning Points for Nations in Crisis by Jared Diamond. Sea Stories, My Life in Special Ops by William McRaven. 4-Hour Work Week by Tim Ferriss. You got Outgrowing God by Richard Dawkins. Hacking Darwin by Jamie Metzi. It's just it's a great thing. With Blinkist, you get unlimited access to read or listen to a massive library of condensed nonfiction books, all the books you want, and all for one low price. Right now, for a limited time, go to Blinkist for a special office. Just for audiences, go to Blinkist, BLINKIST.com/Penn. Try it free for 7 days. Save 25% off your new subscription. That's Blinkist, BLINKIST.com/PENN. To start your 7-day free trial. Also save 25%, but only when you sign up at Blinkist.com/Penn. So what else is going on in the world here? Godot, you told me before we went on that it's frog season.
It's frog season here in Vegas. This is the week every year, just Memorial Day, where I go out to Red Rock and sit by a pond as the evening progresses. So if you sit there, you get there early enough, and it starts to get a little bit dark. And as it gets dark, one little tiny frog will hop out to the edge of this little concrete pond, and he'll look around and he'll start singing. And the second he starts singing, frogs start showing up. Like they all come. You have no idea there are even any frogs there. You couldn't have found one 10 minutes ago. But then all of a sudden they all start singing, and they all start showing up around the edge of this pond. And because it's mating season, it's an amazing thing to watch it grow from one little tiny frog singing to 60 frogs standing around the side of this little pond.
Are they singing the Carpenters?
Yeah, exactly.
Why do frogs suddenly appear?
And how many, not how many, what kind of frogs are they?
I don't know what kind of frog it is.
How's that possible?
I know. I apologize.
You know.
I know. I was going to say it's also the time of year when I go out and there's the smallest bat in North America, the western pipistrelle comes out, and it's like about this big, a little tiny 6 or 7 inch bat that flies like a butterfly, and it comes out this time of year as well, and it's a beautiful thing to go see because when it flies, it's really hard to tell that it's a bat. So the first time you come across it, you go, why is that butterfly? What the hell's going on? And then after a couple of minutes, you go, no, that's a bat. And it's fantastic.
The other day, I was scared by a hummingbird.
They are not afraid of you.
I was sitting out doing I do an hour of just thinking, trying to think of new tricks. Yeah. So I just sit there out by the pool. I have no electronics and actually nothing on. And I'm sitting there just contemplating. Mm-hmm. And thinking, and I run through different ideas I had. We need a revolution of a card for our TV special, and what can I do for that? And all of a sudden, this foreign thing flew over my shoulder, came right in my face, and I thought it was probably a murder hornet with its heart full of murder. Yeah. Had a little yellow on it. And then I realized that it was a hummingbird. And instantly I went from terror to happy. But at that point, I reacted with terror. So I think the hummingbird's feelings were hurt. What the fuck? It's like when I'm in a room and my wife comes in and I'm sitting there quietly reading. She goes, like she's terrified of me. And I go, I live in this house. And she says, you startled me. And I go, but I live here. I'm sitting in a chair reading. I'm not trying to frighten anybody. That's the way the hummingbird acted toward me. Like, what, you're afraid of a hummingbird?
I didn't realize that was a universal thing. I scare the shit out of my wife all the time. And I think the same thing, like, I live here.
Yeah.
And so now, like, I clap my hands when I come up the stairs.
Yeah, you start wearing a bell.
Well, as you get older and heavier, clapping your hands just from walking up the stairs is worthwhile anyway. I made it.
I go ahead and get on my apps and enter that in as 5 minutes of cardio.
I'm working on my my novel. Yeah. And I was at the end when the bad guy has been found out by the good guy, and the good guy does a little bit of a soliloquy on punishment. And now he doesn't want the bad guy punished in any way. He just wants the bad guy to not hurt other people again. Mm-hmm. And he says it's like putting a bell around your cat's neck. And so I went and looked up Bell Around the Cat's Neck. I mean, when I say he said it, I said it. I typed in Bell Around the Cat's Neck. That's interesting. I don't know much about Bell Around the Cat's Neck. And so I read about it. And it turns out that when you put a bell around your cat's neck, you accomplish nothing but deafening your cat somewhat and making them move weird, because they learn to move during hunting so they don't make the bell go.
I just saw.
So you don't save anything by putting a bell on your cat.
I haven't done any research on this, but I saw a website this week that had a colored collar for your cat, that birds would spot these colors before they would see your cat. And so it was a new attempt at trying to save backyard birds.
House cats are responsible for
it's 1 billion.
Yeah, for a lot of species going extinct.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I know that there was an argument for when people complain about windmills and installing windmill farms, that the death toll of windmills doesn't come close to cats.
Yeah, cats. No. I also found out.
Also doesn't come close to fossil fuels.
Right. But what does come close, what I found out, article about not eating meat, and, very much Gregor, who's going to be on next week, by the way.
Excited.
Gregor type argument about meat that just said environmentally, if cows were a nation, which first of all is a good idea. I would think
I could be their king.
Cowslavia, maybe.
Cowstan.
Cowstan is good. They would be the third largest greenhouse gas producers in the world. China, U.S. cows.
Canada would be the
North and South Canada. upper Canada. But
you Americans don't even know what provinces are. You just think Canada is one place.
Yes. But if America stopped eating meat, we would do more to help global warming than stopping all cars.
Wow.
It's just amazing. So, by the way, in stopping meat, let's talk about this. So, my son's birthday was Friday. So we have two 14-year-olds now. There's 11 days that we have our children the same age. So Z turned 14, and we had a pathetic celebration for him because it's during lockdown.
Yeah.
So what he wanted out of me for his birthday, here's the birthday present he wanted from me. He wanted me to sit with him and watch Parks and Recreation.
Whoa.
So I sat for 4 hours watching Parks and Recreation.
You're like, you sure you don't want a condo? Or
which is a very good show. I don't like comedy.
Yes.
I don't like that kind of uncomfortable comedy.
Yeah.
But have there ever been more competent people put together in terms of writing, directing, and acting?
No. I mean, I love Amy Poehler. So.
Amy Poehler is, Fred Willard level.
Yes. Yeah.
Probably better because she learned from Fred Willard.
Right.
I mean, I just don't think I don't think I've seen anybody do better comedy than her.
Yeah.
And then you see the show like, she's showing off because she's the star, and then it's written and directed by.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, even back in the day, like I said, like hands down, she was the best improviser I'd ever seen. She could do it all. Every aspect that you need to make an amazing show and to build a community, like so much being around the early days of the UCB around her, I learned a ton. She was unstoppable.
I was just, it's not what I like to do for relaxation. I don't like watching comedy, but all the stuff that bothers me about those kinds of shows, I believe that even the characters that are seen at their most foolish, that the writers and the actors love those characters, love them.
Yeah.
I believed every moment that Amy Poehler loved her character.
Yeah.
Loved everything about her.
It's funny. I can't watch TV before we go to bed, and my wife can watch a comedy and feel good and go to sleep, and I can't. Comedy sends my brain moving.
Yep.
Yeah.
So she
That's
laughs
fun.
because as she falls asleep, I grab the remote and I put on like the bloodiest thing on Netflix.
Yes.
Are you really going to watch that to fall asleep? I was like, yep.
Yes, I can watch. I can watch any sort of murder thing.
Yeah.
I cannot watch comedy.
It's like watching Sacha Baron Cohen infiltrate the Syrian
Yeah.
army. Just couldn't even make it through the whole episode. As I me. Just fell right asleep.
I turn on Alaska. I watch shows about Alaska.
Oh, that's probably the right choice, though.
And my wife won't fall asleep with the murder stuff on, so I turn on the Alaska to put her out, and then
so
I sit
funny.
up and.
It's so funny how murder shows are the most wholesome thing.
Yeah.
You know, my mom would watch Murder, She Wrote. I sit with my mother-in-law and watch Baptiste, and they cut off a guy's head, and we go, "Oh yeah, cool, wow." The most uncomfortable show is on TV right now, Defending Jacob. Have you seen that?
I haven't.
Ooh, boy, maybe you don't want to. It's every moment is uncomfortable. A 14-year-old may have killed a classmate, and his parents are going to court with him and supporting him.
Oh,
Evidence comes out. And the father, to make it even worse, the father is a former prosecutor
oh boy.
who started the case and then was thrown off when his son was a suspect.
I do have a hankering for legal procedurals, though, and there aren't enough. There's so many crime procedurals. There aren't enough that where court cases go down.
You know that all I want out of every movie is an African-American lawyer.
I know. I want that. I need that playlist from you.
And I finally explained to myself, and I think on this show, I explained why I like it.
Yeah.
You know, because I want to have a hero in my shows. And it is unpopular now to have anybody but an African-American lawyer be a hero. So there's a lot of very, very, very good people that are depicted. And so I just love it. You know, these guys going down and doing civil rights. And even though there's getting people off death row, just good people. And they're not complicated. They're just good. And that's what I want.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just
Philadelphia every night, just Philadelphia.
which I've never seen. I should see that.
Huh?
That's an African-American lawyer.
I tried to watch the is Billy Bob Thornton has a show on Amazon. Goliath, and the first season is wonderfully atrocious legal drama. I mean, it's just the most unbelievable legal stuff. It's like people who like barely Googled stuff just going for it. And and that was the closest I got. And then the second season becomes this psychedelic thing. And then the third season's even worse. It's like I'm following like a poltergeist ghost story or something.
Yeah, the third season I had to stop on.
Yeah,
didn't grab me. Baptiste is good. Guy with the French accent. I'm a fun girl. It's my French accent. It's like Pepe Le Pew in a.
Just that two-dimensional and offensive, huh?
But I can't watch comedy. My son wanted that, so we did that for him. So now we have two 14-year-olds in the house. And then for his birthday, he wanted sushi. And sushi, which is one of the last things to go for my diet, is now repulsive to me.
right.
So I instead went to this place that I was so excited about called No Butcher.
Mm-hmm.
And they have like ribs and tuna salad and salami sandwiches that are all vegan.
Mm-hmm.
And I got an Italian sandwich, fake turkey and fake salami on a, what's it called? Ciabatta roll.
Sure.
Yeah.
And lettuce and tomato and mayonnaise, all vegan. And, it was really good, but I think trying to fake meat's a bad idea. So the next night, I had hot dogs, and I thought hot dogs are going to be the greatest vegan thing ever because real hot dogs are so fucking disgusting.
Yeah.
I mean, even if you're a meat eater,
They're fake, yeah.
if you're a meat eater, just eating lips and assholes and stuff, swept up on the abattoir floor is not something you think about a hot dog for a second, you can't eat it.
Yeah.
So this is a hot dog that's vegan, so it's completely healthy. And I put it in my little bun, and I put sauerkraut, raw onions, and mustard on it.
Yeah.
thrilled to pieces. And still, I mean, they do a great job, but who cares?
It's always
I
the
just don't
first.
want fake meat anymore.
It's the first 2 bites of something, right? Because
Yeah.
it kicks the nostalgic thing in your brain. You get the mouthful thing,
Yeah.
and then you actually get to the act of tasting and eating and seeing if you're satisfied. And you're like, never mind.
Yeah, I'd be much better off sticking with the stuff I love, stews and rice and vegetables. They're just potatoes. They're just really good. And trying to fake the food is not a good idea. I'll keep trying it.
I've seen roasted carrots instead of hot dogs, served like a hot dog. That's supposed to be good. I haven't tried it.
Yeah. See that? I hadn't thought about that. Not doing the smoky taste or the salt or anything, but just doing it. I'll tell you, sauerkraut, onions, and mustard.
Oh, yeah.
In there. But next time I'll try that, a roasted carrot and a hot dog.
Roasted carrot. Yeah, that's what I've heard.
Yeah, because Emily makes these lox and cream cheese, where the lox are marinated sliced
Metal.
You've had that, right?
It's amazing because I didn't even like lox, but the marinated carrot thing, I think that's always the key, is trying stuff that when you're looking for the direct substitute, something you've had recently, that's where it's tough. But I've never been a bagels and lox person. And so when she made me vegan bagels, I've just never had that texture before. And then it was awesome. And then to me, just wonderfully soft marinated carrots with flavor that are flavorful is an awesome thing. I don't need it to be called lox. I would put vegan marinated carrots on stuff to eat.
And I will tell you, I love, they make this, which is the greatest name ever, chickpea of the sea, which is fake tuna.
Yeah.
And tuna salad with fake mayonnaise, fake tuna, scallions, celery, and sandwich on a bread. Sandwich on a bread?
Sandwich on a bread.
So good. So good.
So you like that one?
Yeah, I guess I'm wrong about this. Some are good, some are not. And I've had, Impossible Burgers that are okay, Impossible Whoppers and stuff. But it might be better to just stick with healthful vegetables.
At the end of the day, I think it's more that you want if you're going to have cheat food, why not have your cheat food still be in your relative diet?
Yeah.
But still treat it like cheat food.
And then there's the accidental vegan stuff. Do you know that Marie Callender's raspberry pie
Yeah.
is vegan?
I didn't know that.
It's on the Peter site
I know why you know that.
as accidental vegan. They have no intention of making it vegan, but they don't want to use real butter because they get some cheaper. And
hilarious.
so it's accidental vegan. All the a lot of the Claim Jumper frozen pies, and a lot of the Marie Callender frozen pies are vegan.
Oh,
Very nice.
So it's not the pecan and not the pumpkin, but the
right.
other. And those are really good. And because I've been exercising so much, I've also tried a little bit of protein powder with my groats, and it's a great thing.
Interesting.
I make the most disgusting concoction for dessert that no one else in the world could eat. I take frozen strawberries, protein powder, soy milk, blend that all up, and then pour in it groats. So I have a lumpy smoothie.
That's kind of my breakfast. Yeah.
Wow.
It's disgusting, and I love it.
Your wife made the best vegan bacon that's ever been around, right?
Yep, she did. Out of carrots again.
Okay. I gotta.
Are we sure carrots are not an animal?
No, we just found out the substitute that it is.
Carrots are good. Carrots are good food. I love them. And corn. You can't beat corn. And also peas. Frozen peas with a lot of pepper on them. I could eat just that. Yeah. So my question, and then of course, the best food in the world, if I were going to have food that had no health consequences but was still vegan, peanut butter and Lay's potato chips. Nothing better in the world. It's the greatest. It's the greatest ever. So you took me out to see that frog once,
Yeah.
and no frog showed up. That's
know.
what a Godot trip's about.
Sometimes the frogs don't show up.
And Matt Donnelly, you also did a nature hike with your family? Matt Donnelly is frozen. So what we'll do is
I'll tell you about his hike. I saw the Facebook posts.
Okay. We'll talk about that on Wednesday. Okay. We'll talk about that on Wednesday because we got a lot more to cover.
Yeah.
But for right now, that was Penn Sunday School.
That was Penn Sunday School.
Cha cha cha.
You are listening.
You become
Nature sang and round us rang the music of the spheres. That was Penn Sunday School.
a roasted carrot.
That was Penn Sunday School.
Yeah. Freedom. It's great.
That was Penn Sunday School.
You know we love you.
You know where I'm from?
Where?
Morocco.